I want to start by saying that AI can be useful, but it is not a replacement for human beings. Companies are using AI to handle tasks that humans used to do, and that includes things like customer service, data entry, and even parts of management. Some firms have stopped hiring new people entirely because they think that AI can fill those roles. The problem is that this creates a world where fewer people are actually working, earning wages, and participating in the economy. Human beings are the ones who buy products, who pay rent, and invest in their communities. If AI is doing all the work, the money doesn't circulate the same way, and society suffers. AI is a tool for efficiency, for helping people handle information faster or make certain tasks easier, but it should not be the reason that real jobs disappear. Governments and companies need to understand that a workforce of humans is what keeps economies alive. Without human labor, consumption slows down and businesses ultimately hurt themselves because they depend on humans to survive. AI can support human work, but it cannot replace the social and economic function that humans provide when they earn, when they spend, and when they contribute. That is a simple fact that too many people in business are ignoring right now. The other issue is human connection. When you interact with a human being, it is different than interacting with an AI. A human can understand your context, your needs, and even your frustrations. That builds relationships and trust between companies and consumers, which AI cannot do. In South Africa, the UK, the United States, and other countries, companies are starting to lose this human connection because AI is being used as a substitute. That means communities feel isolated and people feel like they are dealing with a machine instead of another person who cares about the outcome. This might seem efficient for companies, but it damages society over time. Humans need interaction with other humans to maintain a functioning community, to solve problems, and to create shared value. AI cannot contribute to that. It cannot participate in the economy in the same way because it doesn't earn, it doesn't spend, and it doesn't invest. Companies that rely too heavily on AI over people may be more profitable in the short term, but the long term effect is weaker communities, reduced purchasing power, and less economic stability. Human labor is not just about getting tasks done, it is about building a functioning system where everyone contributes to and benefits from the economy. Without that, you are left with efficiency without sustainability. Governments need to step in and regulate this properly. If companies insist on replacing humans with AI, there have to be consequences. Companies cannot just extract resources or generate profits and let human beings bear the cost of fewer jobs, less income, and weaker communities. One way to do this is to increase taxes on firms that replace human workers with AI or require them to invest in housing or education or community programs to offset the impact. No one is trying to stop AI, but this here is about using AI responsibly. AI should enhance human work, not take the place of humans entirely. Economies depend on people earning wages and spending money. If AI runs everything, people at the bottom of the system will suffer first, while the top earns profits and benefits from automation. That is unsustainable, it is unfair, and not something that can continue without serious consequences for society. AI must remain a tool for people, not a replacement for them. Countries that understand this and take action will be able to maintain strong labor markets, functional communities, and healthy economies, while those that ignore it will create more inequality, more instability, and bigger social tensions. Another point to consider is how AI changes the structure of jobs. In some industries, AI hasn't reduced the total number of roles yet, but it changes what skills are needed. People now have to justify why their work adds value in a world where machines can do routine tasks. Entry level and basic positions are shrinking, which makes it harder for young workers or new employees to enter the workforce. At the same time, some companies are retraining workers to work along AI, which it can be helpful, but that requires investment and planning. Not all companies are doing this. Many are simply cutting back hiring and letting AI take over. This has consequences for wages, economic growth, and long term stability. If the majority of people cannot earn enough, the economy suffers. Products are not purchased, services are not used, and communities will struggle. AI may make businesses faster, more profitable temporarily, but it does not solve the problem that people need income to participate in the economy. Human labor drives consumption, and without it, automation loses its purpose. Companies cannot ignore this reality. AI cannot pay taxes or buy groceries or invest in education or support communities. Humans do all of that. That is why governments and economists and businesses must recognize the limits of AI as a replacement for people and ensure that work opportunities remain widely available. One of the biggest dangers is when societies start to accept AI replacing humans as normal. If we allow machines to take over jobs completely, we create a situation where only a few people at the top benefit while everyone else struggles. That means inequality rises and social tension also increases. Communities lose cohesion because people are not connected through work or economic participation. Governments and regulators have a responsibility to prevent this from happening. I am not anti technology. In fact, the contrary, but we have to acknowledge that we have to manage AI responsibly. Humans must remain the central actors in the economy because we are the ones who consume and invest and create demand. If AI replaces too many jobs, there is no demand and the economy contracts. Even if businesses are making more money, the system will not function properly without the majority of people earning an income. That is why it is essential to have policies that balance automation and human employment. Companies that ignore this balance will eventually face consequences, whether through reduced sales or social unrest or pressure from regulators. The world has to remember that human labor is not just a cost, it is the foundation of economic stability and growth. Without it, AI cannot sustain anything on its own. We need to think about the long term vision. AI can be a tool to improve efficiency, to help people learn and assist in complex problem solving, but it should never replace the most important resource in the economy: human beings. People are the ones who work, earn, spend, and maintain communities. Companies that rely only on machines weaken the very systems they depend on. Governments must enforce regulations to ensure that human labor remains central. Investment in training and support for communities and limits on AI replacing basic jobs are critical. At the end of the day, AI cannot buy products. It cannot pay taxes. It cannot maintain social cohesion. It is a tool, not a replacement. Societies that understand this will build stronger, more sustainable economies and healthier communities. Societies that ignore this will face inequality, unemployment, and instability. Human work is not optional, it is essential. AI should assist, not replace, and companies and governments must act accordingly if they want economies and communities to thrive.